So Mario says, "Hey, Frank, love the podcast. I agree with you 90% of the time." Do you really? I don't think my wife agrees with me that much. 90% of the time, then he says, on politics and COVID. "I love the rants. Well, I'm writing you today about the idea of a trend that I see. I live in California, very liberal, upside-down political state. My kids never touched a schoolroom in 2020. I have a 7 and 9-year-old. We have mask mandates everywhere. My kids are finally in school after 18 months, but with masks on. Regardless of the lockdowns and all the political BS we deal with in California, one thing that never stopped and only got bigger and bigger is club sports. My kids play both club soccer and other sports because it's expensive. We practice 4 times a week. Never stops regardless of COVID. We have tournaments once a month, sometimes with more than 1,000 kids, and he says thousands even of kids, and hundreds of teams, no masks at all. This is just soccer. It's baseball, softball, etc. It's also not just California, as we had tournaments in San Diego. We had teams from Washington, Texas, Las Vegas, coming from around the nation for tournaments. Because Florida club sports are also big as we look to moving there. I believe it's a sense of freedom or maybe just a political COVID break we all look for once we drive into the complex. It's like we're back into 2019. My niece received a full 100% scholarship for softball and never played for a high school. Club sports is growing, and parents are throwing tons of money into it. High school sports is dying as parents and athletes don't want politics or city-state associates with their sports. Is now my question. How do we invest in this trend? We all use an app called Team Snap, which is used across all club sports, but they're not public. I understand that Dick's Sporting Goods is a way to play this trend. There's a surge in golf, fishing, camping, any other way to feel free to mention. But there has to be something out there, some ideas to tap into this growth market. Great question. Club sports is definitely huge. Anyone who has parents understands that are athletes, and it's very big in the recruiting process for colleges. I don't know if you saw the percentages, but it's incredible. And close to 80% of men and women who became college athletes played club sports. And you're seeing that. A lot of people don't want to deal with the politics. That's why I removed my kid from the school she's in. It's when you're going to a school. For me, the way I look at it, and I'll say this personally, I don't know how everybody else looks at it, but those teachers, that system, should be doing the best interest of teaching my kid, or in the best interest of my kid, and also best interest of the parents. And right now, that's not the case. They're doing the best interest for themselves, for the teachers, for what they believe in. And that's really fucked up. So you could see like a big shift where, some of the things that they're teaching, it's not for the benefit of the kids. No, it's a benefit for themselves. So you're seeing a lot of this. Just let me get out of the political, whatever side you're on, I want to get out of it. I want my kids to go to sports and enjoy it. And my 13-year-old came to me and said, talked about Biden. And she saw a news story and she's like, "Wow, I hate Biden. And I told her, I said, you know what? Don't say that. I said, first of all, you shouldn't even be thinking about that right now. Anything political at 13? Were you thinking of politics when you were 13? Holy cow. I was like in my mid-20s before that. I started to care about this stuff. 13? How does she have exposure to that? How does she have exposure to this? Just all the YouTube channels, all the conditioning, all this craziness and social media. It's like you just got to take them off of everything. Even though sometimes some of that stuff is, could be educational, but come on. I said, listen, don't watch anything. Don't think about anything. You're a kid. Have fun. Go crazy. You're in a tough school. She's got homework every day. But, I was like, don't say that. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I'm not going to condition her. Whatever. She's going to have her own opinions on different things, the way she grows up and how she wants to whirl. And that's okay. And I was told you didn't have to hate the other side because I think differently. Today, yes, you have to choose. I hate you and you're an asshole and you're not right no matter what facts you provide. There's no negotiation. There's no middle ground. It's crazy. So I see that. Now, to get to your question, listen, athletics, apparel, equipment space is insanely on fire. The only thing I worry about is supply chain issues. See them grow and grow. And I was, talking about, everyone's talking about years now, not just months, not just in the auto industry, but everything. But if you're looking at the names in athletics, apparel, equipment, that space, holy cow. Lululemon had the highest expectations ever, blew them out, stocks at new highs. Under Armour's doing great. Amazing earnings last 2 quarters out. And they report another one, that stock's really going to go. Nike earnings weren't that great, but that's because they really reported great earnings a couple quarters before. And it's still 5% off its all-time high. Callaway Golf just raised 2 great quarters, just raised estimates again, right? So you're seeing those earnings, and again, those stock prices are going to follow and continue to go higher. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. And we're in like a secular uptrend in sports and apparel and golf. Remember golf? People didn't want to know golf. They don't like now. They were forced to play it, and one of the things you could play that was kind of COVID friendly, and you could take 2 separate carts and you're outdoors and stuff. But now, you start playing golf, you're in. It's hard. Especially if you're an athlete, because it's one of the hardest sports. It's just so difficult, and you got to be perfect. And one of the few sports that you could play where you're great one day, and it's like you never even play the next day. It's crazy. But the best play on all of this, I think you mentioned, is Dick's Sporting Goods. The quarter that they announced, probably the best this earnings season. Just dialed in, special dividend, saying almost every department's great in golf, but they sell what? Nike, Under Armour, they sell all this stuff. And that is the ultimate play on this, because you don't know, Nike, again, they came out, I think the stock sold off a little bit, and then, it's come back a little bit. But you don't know, maybe Under Armour drops the ball, inventory concerns, they're not able to fill up inventory for the holiday season, which is a possibility for many of these retailers right now due to supply chain issues. So when I look at this, I like Dick's Sporting Goods, probably the best play, not a pure play, but I like what you're thinking. I love that. I love when you guys are like, hey, I'm seeing this. How do I play it? That's how you should think. Don't let it control your life like it does for me, where you're going, I went to the mall this week. Because I am going away. I'm going to Dallas on a business trip, very important business trip. And, I'll be back a couple days. And I realized that since I lost 25 pounds, I don't have a suit. So I had to go to the mall and buy a suit and see if they could tailor it. Luckily, I found someone that could do it, on Saturday, and I got it on Sunday. I couldn't get a space anywhere. It was jammed. This is a place that has hundreds and hundreds of stores. It has a mall and all hundreds and hundreds of stores everywhere. You couldn't get a space. Going into, not even parking a quarter of a mile away. It was crazy. And people, it wasn't just like, hey, I want to get some. Everyone had bags. Everyone was buying stuff. I never seen it more crowded than it was. But you want to find out what stores are doing well, who has crowds, where they buying stuff, who's advertising the most, right? Usually when you're advertising a lot means that, you're going to bring in a lot of revenue, most likely, for that quarter. Could be a good earnings quarter. Seeing a company that's not used to advertising, now you see the commercials everywhere. But pay attention to this stuff. It matters. So I love where you're going with this. This is really, really cool. Mara, great question. I get a lot of these, all the time. Just, what you're seeing in different markets and how to play it, and everyone is part of something else. Some of you have kids. Some of you just go to college. Some of you are in different industries. That's how we're able to understand how the supply chain issues, guys, come on. We're saying, listen, these guys are lying to you. These guys are lying. I have the data right here. These are from people in the industry.